Day 2 of continued controversy around Mayor Steve Adler's decision to not march in tomorrow's Veterans Day parade.
Williamson County Sheriff Robert Chody, one of many criticizing the mayor on social media. And as you can imagine, this is a complicated discussion that at its core is dealing with whether Confederate soldiers are seen as U.S. veterans. Our own Jason Puckett has spent hours looking into relative documents to see what's the truth here. And Jason, give us a little context to this debate.
Absolutely, Quita. And to start off, let's hear Mayor Adler say for himself the main reason he says he isn't going to be marching.
Veterans Day is to honor United States veterans, and Confederate veterans are not United States veterans. And as part of my look on this, we researched that issue.
Now, he's citing the Congressional Research Service, a government agency that looks up and provides info to lawmakers and officials. They wrote to him, quote, "If your only service was in the Confederate Army Navy, you are not considered a veteran under federal law." But the other side uses the same basic laws to reach a different conclusion. The Confederate marchers argue that in the 20s and 50s, Congress defined Confederate soldiers as U.S. veterans. In 1929, Congress deemed unmarked graves would be treated the same for Union and Confederate soldiers. And in 1958, widows of deceased Confederate soldiers received the same military pensions that U.S. soldiers received. But neither law actually ever called Confederate soldiers U.S. veterans, which gets us to this argument.
So what are the Confederate groups having to say tonight?
Well, no official statements from those groups, but their argument was basically that if Confederate soldiers are being buried the same as U.S. soldiers and their widows are receiving the same benefits as U.S. soldiers, that they are U.S. veterans. Sort of a if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck argument.
Okay, well, what about, I know you were saying that there's really no precedent set for this sort of thing.
Exactly, and that's kind of the frustrating part because outside what Mayor Adler is citing, it looks like no government agency or legal body has officially answered the question, and right now that leaves both sides to interpret those same laws in very different ways. So the debate is just continuing at this point. We ought to point out, though, that the parade is continuing, too. It's going to be tomorrow downtown at 9:30 on Congress Bridge. Important to note that there are more than 60 groups in that parade that are not involved on either side of this debate. Quita?
All right, Jason, thank you very much for all that information.
Thank you.